basic concepts of chemistry. That is the first chapter of class 11, and then we have many more to see. The first part of the chapter deals with laws of chemical combination. So there are total of 5 laws and we will see one by one. The first law of laws of chemical combination is law of conservation of mass. The law states that mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form to the other. So this is basically the law, and what is the summary is that we cannot create mass nor we can destroy mass. So when we are doing a chemical reaction, suppose A and B are reacting to form C, we will expect the total mass of A and B will be equal to the total mass of C. So we can write down total mass of reactants must be equals to total mass of products. So this is the summary of the law of conservation of mass. Let us see with an example. Suppose carbon is reacting with oxygen to form carbon dioxide. This is a very well known reaction. So the mass of carbon is 12. If we take it in grams, the mass of oxygen is 2 into 16 because the atomic mass of oxygen is 16. So there are 2 oxygen to 2 into 16. So this is 32 grams. Mass of carbon dioxide is 12 for carbon and 2 into 16 for oxygen. So the total is 44 grams. And here also 12 plus 32 equals to 44 grams. So in this way we can see that total mass of the reactants is equals to total mass of the product. It is a very simple law. Now if we move to the next law, that is law of constant proportion. So what does this law state? First let us see and then we will proceed with an example. When 2 elements combine to form a compound, no matter from which source it is obtained, always contains the element in a fixed proportion. So this is the whole law, and as we can see that the law of constant proportion, we can see that when 2 elements combine to form a compound, no matter what, from which it is obtained, from which source it is obtained, always contain the elements in the fixed proportion. So let us see this law with an example. For example, we are considering formation of water from hydrogen and oxygen. So the simple equation that we know is 2H2 plus O2 forms 2H2O. So the compound is H2O, and in H2O what is the mass of hydrogen and oxygen? We can see there are two hydrogen atoms. So the mass of hydrogen is 2. And what is the mass of oxygen? There is only one oxygen atom. So it is 6. So what we are ratio of hydrogen and oxygen in the compound water. So this is equals to 2:16. So if we simplify it, the ratio comes out to be 1:8. So this is one source from which we are getting water, that is by the reaction of hydrogen and oxygen, and we are getting water. Now if we look into another example from which water is obtained, suppose we are heating sodium bicarbonate and we will get sodium carbonate plus water plus carbon dioxide, right? So we can see here also the compound water is formed. So the compound is the same, and if in this also we can find the mass ratio, we will find it is mass ratio of what? Of hydrogen is to oxygen, that is 2:16. So it comes out to be 1:8. So this law basically means that whatever the source of the compound may be, the reaction may be different, but the ratio will always be the same between two elements when they are forming a compound, right? Now if we move to the next law, the third law, law of multiple proportion. What does this law say? When two elements combine to form two or more compounds, the ratio of masses of one element which combines with a fixed mass of another element is a whole number multiple. So this is the law. We can first write it down and then we will explain with an example. So again here also we are considering two elements, right? Suppose we are taking the elements carbon and oxygen, right? Now we know carbon and oxygen forms two oxides. One is carbon monoxide and another is carbon dioxide. So the first line, that is the two elements combine to form two or more than two compounds, the ratio of masses of one element which combines with a fixed mass of another element. It means when we are considering these two compounds, the mass of one element must always be constant. Suppose in CO and CO2, what is the mass of carbon in each? It is 12. So we can say that mass of carbon is fixed. Okay. So out of two elements, mass of one element has to be fixed. Okay. Now moving to the second element, that is oxygen. What are their masses? In carbon monoxide the mass is 16 and in carbon dioxide the mass is 2:16. So the law states that there will be a ratio between these two masses of oxygen. What is the ratio? We can say mass ratio of oxygen in CO and CO is to CO2 is 16:32. So it means it is 1:2. So this is the law of multiple proportion. That is, one element, the mass will be fixed in both the compound and we will compare the mass of the other element, and that will lie in a whole number ratio. Suppose if we see another example to illustrate the law of multiple proportion. oxygen, they form many compounds, right? Suppose nitric oxide, that is NO, nitrogen dioxide, that is NO2, and nitrous oxide, N2O, and there are many several oxides of nitrogen. So first let us write down the mass of nitrogen and oxygen in each compound. So in NO it is 14, it is 16. Again in NO2 mass of nitrogen is 14, but mass of oxygen is now 2 into 16. Now in N2O, that is the nitrous oxide, the mass of nitrogen is 28 because there are 2 nitrogen, and mass of oxygen is 16. Now we can see in these 3 compounds, the mass of neither element is fixed. Nitrogen masses are also differing, oxygen masses are also differing. So let us take at least mass of one element to be constant. Let it be nitrogen, suppose. So constant mass of nitrogen, suppose we take it to be 14. For all the 3 elements, all the 3 compounds, we take the mass of nitrogen to be constant and it is 14. So now we are seeing the masses of oxygen combined. So in NO it was 14, so the mass of oxygen is again 60. In NO2 mass of nitrogen is 14, but mass of oxygen was 32. Okay, fine. In N2O the mass of nitrogen was 28. So 28 oxygen mass was 16. So now if we take mass of nitrogen to be 14, then mass of oxygen will be 8. We are just dividing it by 2. So law of multiple proportion says there will be a ratio between the masses of the oxygen. So we can see the ratio, mass ratio of oxygen in NO, NO2 into O5 is equals to 16, 32 is to 8. That is, we can write 2 is to 4 is to 1. So this is the ratio of the masses of oxygen in these 3 compounds, and they combine with a fixed mass of nitrogen, that is 14. Now let us move to the 4th law, that is law of reciprocal proportion. Law of reciprocal proportion. Now in this law we will consider 3 elements. Suppose there is an element A which is combined with an element B, and there is another element C. Now C is the common element, means A also forms a compound with C, B also forms a compound with C, right? So first we need to find a common element, that is C. Now this law states that suppose A combines with C and B combines with C, the mass of C must be same in both, okay? So first we need to make sure that mass of C is constant in AB and AC. In both this compound, mass of C must be constant. Sorry, AB and AC and BC. And then the law says that we will take the ratio of mass of A and B. Okay? So mass of A and B, ratio of mass of A and B, which combines with fixed mass of C. So this is our first task, that is, whenever this law will be given, we will measure the common mass, the common element mass should be constant, and we need to find the ratio of the masses of the other 2 elements which are combining with the common element. Now when these 2 elements will combine among themselves, that is A and B will combine, we will again get a ratio of mass element, that is the common element, and second task is the ratio of mass of A and B in their own compound in which they are reacting. So these two ratios, suppose this is ratio R2 and this is the ratio R1. So law of reciprocal proportion says that these two ratios will be a whole number. Okay. Now I know that this law is quite tricky. So let us see this part with an example and then it will be clear to you. Clear? Suppose we are taking the three elements hydrogen, sulfur and oxygen. Now we know hydrogen combines with oxygen to form a compound that is H2O, right? Sulfur combines with oxygen to form a compound, suppose it is SO2. So in this case, in water, what is mass of oxygen? Mass of oxygen is in water, it is 16 grams. What is the mass of oxygen in SO2? It is 32 grams. Now oxygen is the common element, guys. So first point, we need to make the mass of oxygen constant for both water and sulfur dioxide. So let us take this mass to be 32 grams. So in sulfur dioxide, oxygen is already present 32 grams. So now in water what we will say that mass of hydrogen reacting with 32 gram oxygen, it will be 2 into 2, that is 4. Because when it was 6 gram, the mass of hydrogen was 2. Now when it is oxygen mass has changed to 32 gram, then it must be 2 into 2, that is 4. So we are finding the mass of hydrogen and oxygen, the ratio of mass of hydrogen. So what is the mass of hydrogen? Mass ratio of hydrogen and sulfur combining with 32 grams oxygen. So guys, we have made the mass of the common element fixed, that is 32, and now we are finding the ratio of the mass of the elements which are combining with 32 grams of oxygen. So we can see hydrogen will be 4, and what is the mass of sulfur that is present in SO2, that is 32 grams of oxygen is reacting, it is also 32 because mass of sulfur in SO2 is 32. So we will find the ratio, that is 1:8. So this is our first ratio. Suppose it is R1. So the first task is completed. We have found out the ratio of hydrogen and sulfur which are combining with a fixed mass of the common element. Now comes the second part of the sum, that is this hydrogen and sulfur will combine between themselves to form a compound. So what will they form? They will form H2S, hydrogen sulfide. So in this compound, what is ratio of mass of hydrogen and sulfur in H2S? So in H2S, how many hydrogen are there? How much gram? 2, and sulfur is 32. So it is 16, that is 1:16. So suppose this ratio is your R2 and this is your R1. So law of reciprocal proportion says that R1 by R2 will be a whole number. So let us see, R1 is 1/8 and R2 is 1/16. So it will be 2:1. So we are also getting the ratio between these two ratios, it is a whole number ratio. So this is what law of multiple proportion is. We are now moving to the last law of chemical combinations, number 5, that is your Gay-Lussac's law. Now first of all guys, I would want to tell you that this law is only applicable for gases. What is the law? The law is when gases combine, their volume are in a whole number ratio with each other, and also to the product if it is gaseous, provided the conditions remain same. So again, this is a very simple law. Let us see this with an example. Suppose hydrogen combines with nitrogen to form ammonia. Now we will definitely balance the equation. So how many moles of hydrogen are reacting? 3 with 1 mole of nitrogen to form 2 moles of ammonia. So in this case we can write 3 moles, 2 moles, sorry, this is 1 mole, and ammonia is 2 mole. Now we know, or we will be coming to know, that there is a direct proportionality between the mole and the volume. Okay? So if we know this part, then we can say 3 moles means we can also write it to be 3 volumes. 3 volume of hydrogen reacts with 1 volume of nitrogen to form 2 volume of ammonia. It means when the gases are reacting, all of them are in the gaseous state. When the gases are reacting, their volumes are in a whole number ratio. What is the ratio? Between hydrogen and nitrogen, 3:1. If someone asks me what is the volume ratio of nitrogen and ammonia, because ammonia is also a gaseous product, then we can say it is 1:2. It means they will always bear a whole number ratio. So this is the Gay-Lussac's law. Let us see with another example. Suppose combustion of methane we are considering. So CH4 reacts with oxygen to form carbon dioxide and water. This is the combustion of methane. First we will see whether the reaction is balanced or not. So now it is balanced. So methane, how many moles? We can see the stoichiometric coefficient is 1. So we can see volume is 1 volume. What is the volume of oxygen? 1. What is the volume of carbon dioxide produced? 1. And what is the volume of water vapor produced? We are considering this water to be in the gaseous state. Minded. If it were in liquid, then we couldn't have written the volume. So now we can say volume ratio of CH4 is to oxygen, 1:1. Similarly, volume ratio of CH4 is to carbon dioxide, that is 1:1. Volume ratio of oxygen is to water, that is 1:2. So in this way we can see that all the volumes will have a definite ratio. Now in which ratio? In the ratio that the compounds are getting formed. Clear? Suppose in ammonia we saw that the ratio of nitrogen and hydrogen as they were reacting, it was 1:3. The volume ratio of nitrogen and hydrogen, it was 1:3. And we can see that in the compound also, guys, in compound ammonia also, ratio of nitrogen and hydrogen, it is 1:3. So this is the reason why if there is a whole number ratio, and this is your Gay-Lussac's law. Very simple. In the next video, we will be covering the numericals related to these laws, and and we will further move to mole concept and their sums. For today, bye.